just completed our journey pretty much to Santa Pod. We're about 30 minutes away. It's just gone midnight. It's about 12:15. We're going to try putting some spark plugs in this because it's misfiring on full boost. And I can't remember the last time I changed them. Annoyingly, I've got lots at home, but we've come to a Euro car parts, which is over there. They've got loads in stock, so they open at 8. We're gonna stay here for the night. As soon as they're open, we're gonna fit fresh plugs, and then we're gonna head off to Santa Pod. We were just looking on like Google Maps for like a bridge in the area to see if we could park underneath it, because otherwise we were gonna have to put tarpaulin over the roof. And we were literally parked under that tree there, looking on Google Maps for a bridge we could fit under. And then I just said, oh my god, a giant bloody canopy here. It's a hand car wash. It's perfect. Made for it. So we're going to sleep here for the night. Alright, it is the next morning. We had a lovely night's sleep on this industrial estate. It's quite busy. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. Euro car parts isn't open for another hour, so we're going to grab a bite to eat and then we'll come back, buy some spark plugs, and then probably fit them right here. Small amount of missing footage there from where we were camped outside Euro car parts to when we got to Santa Pod, so I'll fill you in now. Richard, who is my crewmate, he'll admit he's not the most tech savvy guy, and he'll have no option but to admit it now because I'm about to publicly shame him on the internet, and I get over 300 views, so that's a lot of people who are going to know this. But sorry to have to do this, Richard, but it's part of the story and it's quite amusing. He basically read the website wrong. Euro car parts did not stock spark plugs for the Saab turbo engine, the NGKs, PCPs, 70SRs, or whatever they are. Euro car parts, the website said order them and we can get them for 3 p.m. that day, which was of no use because we had to be at Santa Pod at 8:30 in the morning. Also, he took us past Santa Pod to get to this Euro car parts. We went north of Santa Pod. We didn't need to. We drove past other Euro car parts to get to that one. What happened in the bit of footage that was missing, because it was a bit frantic, is that we had to go to a GSF which had the spark plugs in stock, but they were in Northampton, which was actually en route to Santa Pod. So we shot over there, bought the plugs. The guy in the store lent me a spark plug socket because I didn't have one on me because I wasn't planning on doing any this sort of maintenance or servicing on the road. And yeah, we fit the plugs in the car park and headed off to Santa Pod. Unfortunately, that full boost misfire, which we've been trying to cure, that was still present. So it's not spark plugs. Absolute no issues that we recorded. On Instagram, because you like commas, you probably follow comma Eileen as well. It's a fella called Luke, and he's got a pickup comma, a cream one, with a Mercedes 605 5-cylinder diesel, bigger pump, bigger turbo, very cool thing. And I put out on my Instagram story, does anybody know where I can get a DI pack, a coil pack for one of these, because that's the next thing I want to try to get rid of this misfire. Luke messaged me saying there's a place in King's Lynn which isn't too far away, I'll take you there. And he's rung up for me. He spoke to the guy's got a few coil packs. He said we can try them before we buy them. So that's what we're doing right now. We're off to meet up with Luke, and then he's taking us to King's Lynn and we're going to try the coil pack. So fingers crossed it works out for us.
Yeah, it looks amazing. So we're just following him now to grab these Saab parts. Child. Do you hear his tyres then? No.
Unfortunately, the full boost misfire was still persistent even after I tried another coil pack. Being as this gentleman had come out from Kings Lynn to meet us with some spare coil packs, which he said we could try before we buy, I decided to buy one off him anyway and keep it as a spare. So thanks to that bloke. Here is his details, Saab Services in Kings Lynn. And also a big thanks to Luke and Comer Eileen. It was great to meet in person. We've been following each other on Instagram for a while. Lovely bloke, and yeah, that camera of his certainly goes well. Better than my Saab Turbo one, that's for sure.
You know you've got a shit van when you need to put a tarpaulin inside it. Woohoo!
So in this video clip here, I am waffling on about what's been going on during the day. You already know, let's not go through it again. But right now, I have just got off the phone to speaking with my good friend, James Murphy. I'm trying to get him to start up a company either called Changing Vrooms, because he looks like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, or Turtleneck Tuning, because he always wears turtleneck jumpers. Vote in the comments which one he should go for, Turtleneck Tuning or Changing Vrooms. Both brilliant ideas. Anyway, after speaking to James, we've decided it may have two bigger size injectors in it. They were sold to me as 630cc's, but they may be the 875s. So we're changing the injector constant number, which basically rescales all the maps to do with the fueling for bigger injectors. The improvement, vastly different. It's safe to say this thing probably has 875cc injectors in it.
Let's eat.
It's so American.
Mate, get up, we gotta go racing.
5, that's it. 49 of a second improvement.
Alright, day of racing done at Melbourne, did 3 runs back to back. Quickest was like a 9.44 I think, at like 74 mile an hour. Happy with that. It goes well. Everybody was asking me, what the hell is in that? The scrutineering bloke looked at it and he's like, where's your engine? I can't see anything. It's because it's in the right place, under the seat, not in the middle, like the cheetahs. Now we're going to hit the road, go a few checkpoints to get to off to Santa Pod. Nice steady cruise.
So the master cylinder is dying / dead on the van. Just driven past somebody that's got a whole series on the driveway. So Adam's knocking and begging for parts.
A little bit of story here. The comma runs a master cylinder on the front brakes and the rear brakes. I just fitted a new front brake master cylinder before we left. It failed and we were running pretty much only rear brakes whilst we were getting into Melbourne, and for the entirety of the day at Melbourne I was pretty much only on rear brakes. Which is not ideal. The journey from Melbourne to Santa Pod was going to be a wet one, and I needed my brakes back for obvious reasons. We left Melbourne Raceway on a Saturday afternoon, so there was basically nowhere going to be open to buy a new master cylinder. It's a Girlin style master cylinder, so they're fitted to a lot of old British vehicles and Land Rovers and stuff. If it had been the middle of the week, I'd have been able to get one, but not on a Saturday afternoon. As we were driving along, we passed a house which had an old Land Rover on the driveway and some Dodge Rams. And I was like, I'm going to knock the door and see if he's got one. I knocked the door. This bloke called Dave answered, and I said, strange one. I've got an old van. It runs a Land Rover master cylinder and it's playing up. I don't suppose you have a spare one on your shelf somewhere. And he said, I don't, but I know somebody who will have. And without even thinking about it, he got his phone out, scrolled, found a bloke called Ben. He said, give him a ring. And I said, brilliant, I'm going to ring him right now. So I'm still stood on this Dave's doorstep and I ring up this guy called Ben. And I say, strange one, I'm driving along, I've passed Dave's house, I've seen he's got a Land Rover. I need a Land Rover master cylinder for my van, which is a comma. He doesn't have one. He said, you will. This Ben said, I do, I have many. And this Ben turned out to be like a Land Rover restoration guy. He said, I do, but I'm on holidays in Le Mans. And I was like, right, well, that's the end of that then. And I was saying to him, okay, yeah, brilliant, thanks, no worries. Any idea where else I'll get one? And he was obviously warming to me and he said, do you know what? Let me ring my wife and see what time she's going to be home and I'll ring you back. And I'm like, yes. He rings me back 10 minutes later and he says, my wife will be home in half an hour. She doesn't know what you're after, so you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to pick off the shelf which one you need. But yeah, I've got some. So brilliant news. He gave me the directions to his house. Me and Richard turned up. So surreal. Me and my mate who looked like a bearded Viking turn up. 2 random blokes in an old van. And this lady's like, yeah, come in and have a look and pick what you want. And we went into his workshop and she said, I don't know what they are. And I had to look at a few different ones and I picked one. I was like, yep, that's gonna work. And I bought it off them. Brilliant. So I said to Ben's wife, just as we were leaving, I don't suppose you know of anywhere waterproof, like under a bridge or an old petrol station, where we can fit this master cylinder? And she said, I would let you use something here, but all the workshops are full, and they were. I could see that, no problem there. She said, there's a morgue down the road, a mortuary. It'll be closed, but they've got a canopy. There'll be nobody there. There will be cameras though, but you could be cheeky and use that. So it was Saturday afternoon, we went and had a look, and unfortunately the gates to it were closed, so we couldn't use that. We started driving around then and looking for old petrol stations, bridges, barns, anything we could use to change the master cylinder in the dry, because again it was pouring down. We got to a house which had a barn outside it, an open fronted barn, and I was like, I'm just gonna have to ask this guy. So I drove onto the driveway and I knocked and I said, I don't suppose, and explained the situation, and without even hesitating he said, yeah, of course, come on. And he walked out his front door and he took me around to his barn and he was like, yeah, here's the lights and everything. And so big thanks to Tim. He was out there, he was having a beer, Richard gave him a beer, and we were chatting along, and whilst we fitted this master cylinder to the front brakes and then bled up the brakes, and we were good to go again. And it was just such an amazing little adventure. Really, really great. So big thanks to Dave, who's the first house I went to, Ben, who sorted me out with the part, Ben's wife, who let me in and to pick the part, and then Tim and his wife for letting us use the barn to fit the master cylinder. So we fitted the master cylinder and that was all good. We were then hours behind everybody else. We headed on a Santa Pod at quite a speed, and we arrived and everyone had gone to bed.
So there's a TVR behind us putting his race tyres on. There's a Cortina beside us doing like engine checks, and then there's us cooking bacon. We may not be taking it as serious as the rest.
He's off for the Saints alone. That was...
Stick to rocks. As Kaale runs away. The big question is, do you think Andy Bond's is going to come back next year, really?
And that's it. That's the end of Street Week 24. Bye.
Signing out.
That was our adventure in the Comma Turbo on Street Weekend 24. We had a brilliant time. The van, despite having to try and queue with that misfire and us going to various places to buy parts, it actually performed faultlessly. We had the misfire issue, which turned out to be a map change, and then we had a master cylinder failure, which was from a new master cylinder we fitted less than a week previous. Didn't add any coolant, didn't add any oils to anything. The van performed faultlessly. Really happy with that, because I think a lot of people still look at the van, friends and family, still look at it as like a bit of a piece of shit, basically, and a van that is just not finished, and like a really, you've let yourself down there. It was going to be a camper van and it's not. I've just got to say, I have a brilliant time with this van. I've been camping in it plenty. Yeah, it's not got an interior in it and it leaks like a sieve, but I've been to Holland in this van. I've been all around the country in it. People do like it and I love it. I just need to say a great big thank you to Richard, because for sure this weekend would not have happened if it wasn't for his help beforehand and during the weekend itself. I have to say a big thanks to Tim for letting us fit that master cylinder in his barn. Big thank you to Dave and Ben, who were the people who sorted me out with the new master cylinder. And a massive big thank you to Rowena and my little baby Otto. On the week leading up to Street Weekend, I was basically absent. I was down the barn all week working on the van. Rowena basically allowed me to neglect my parent duties and to waste a lot of money on getting an old crap van ready to go drag racing. So big thank you to Rowena. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Who knows what's coming next? I certainly don't, but certainly enjoyed making the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.